I'm Dave Klein, and this is a Cymulate cybersecurity newscast. A bizarre mystery has been solved. Law enforcement officials across the globe had noticed a rapid increase in the number of Kia and Hyundai automobiles being stolen. In many precincts, so many new Hyundais and Kias were being stolen to be up to 40% of the entire number of vehicles having been stolen in an area. So an exponential rise in theft of these specific vehicles. Also, sadly, in the US, we had a few deaths. We had about 17 deaths, all minors, who had stolen Kias or Hyundais and either gotten into a chase with police or with a joyride and died. So you had deaths and you had a massive amount of cars stolen. Well, it turns out it puzzled authorities for a long time until last week. A TikTok video came out with some minors, some kids calling themselves the Kia Boys, showing how to get around the substandard security system and an ignition system that does not have a crypto chip included. So what is that? So in these vehicles, they could break a certain window, I won't say which one, and get in the vehicle and avoid the alarm system, because unlike most security systems for cars that cover all the windows, this one, they were going cheap and didn't do that. Number two, the key ignition system didn't have a crypto chip. Most people today have key fobs or even the actual keys themselves, and all of them have a crypto chip in it to negotiate the start of the engine. Because there was nothing there in these cars, it just made it very easy for them to be stolen. What do I think about this? I think it's a real situation of a lack of ability of either company to test appropriately, to measure risk, to understand that risk and reduce it. For me, they were being cheap. And the number of cars we're talking about is huge here. For Kia, we're talking about any car between, I believe, give me a second here, I'm looking at the report here, any car from 2011 to 2021. In Hyundai, 2016 to 2021. And there's one caveat. If you have the push button start on either of these cars, that does have a crypto chip. It's the ones that don't have the push button in it, that has a key that you turn. And again, most cars today who have keys that turn still have crypto chips, and they should too, and that's not an excuse. So there's a lot of class action lawsuits out there against both companies, and hopefully these two companies will do the right thing and give people upgraded alarm systems and crypto chips on their ignition. A study by Symantec this week shows that 1,859 apps across Android and iOS platforms have hard-coded AWS credentials in them. Terrible, awful. So of that number, 77% of the apps contain valid AWS access tokens. 50% of the apps were found to be sharing supplier vendor tokens. Even some banking apps were included in the mix, and most offered unfettered S3 access once incorporated. Wow, really big problem here. So when we think about shift left approach to DevOps, this is so important, right? We have to get this right. We have to be able to code access to our applications and resources that don't end up uncovering ourselves or our third-party supplier vendors in the process. And when we get to that cloud-based bucket, it should be read-only and highly segmented. So again, a great example of what not to do. I'll put a link to the report in the notes section of the video. Another story about AWS security in the news. Checkmarks has uncovered the Ring app for Android. Over 10 million people have downloaded that app, by the way. Allows cross-site scripting that you can capture the authentication token and see the person's information, their device information, and all their recorded videos. So they put out a report this week, which I'll include in the notes section of the video. Yet another example of really being important to shift left in DevOpsSec. And that's the news for the week. I'm Dave Klein. This has been the Cymulate Cybersecurity Newscast. Stay safe.